This episode of KSTV is brought to you by Gem Creative, custom designs, printing, web designs, SEO, and more.
Welcome. Hello. Hi.
All of the above.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I'm him.
And I'm him. I'm not her. I'm him.
But some days we get called the Kevin and Ron show. But
and some days it's the Ron and Kevin show.
Yeah,
we never know.
You never know.
No, whatever works.
Yeah.
I'm hungry, Ron. You get a snack?
I have had too many snacks.
So have I.
Yeah, I know. We're both noticing this. Yes.
Well, I noticed my wallet's a bit lighter because of it.
Really?
Okay. Well, you know, it's funny. Really funny.
Yeah, okay.
I was reading an article online last week from a reliable news source about a snack tax.
Okay.
So if you were to go to Tim Hortons, say, and buy a muffin, you're going to be taxed on that.
But if you're snack tax.
A snack tax.
Okay.
But if you buy a six-pack, there's no tax on that because it's prepackaged.
How does that work?
I don't know.
Okay.
It was interesting to read that.
It would be, and I'm sure your mind immediately, as mine is, start going to saying, what did your mind come up with?
Well, just another government grab.
Okay, so you're okay.
That's my first thing I went, and the government wants more money.
Okay.
It's like when they raise the taxes or the prices of alcohol or cigarettes or whatever. Government is broke or getting broke. It needs more money.
It is a place to find money.
It's like they're taxing us for our indulgences, which be it good or bad.
Well, there's something to. Let me go over to an ethical and moral thought on that. I think in some ways a government should be in place to help us care for ourselves, protect ourselves from ourselves.
Are they the best judges of that?
Well, that's another question.
I know me better than they do.
Okay.
And you know you better than the government does.
Yes.
Do they have the right to tell us that?
Well,
I know that's a whole other episode.
Okay, we're going through the whole freedom thing here,
yes, we are.
which is a point which I would say comes with our country. And when we talk about snack tax, we're getting into that whole question of at what point do we know best versus does the government know best?
Right.
Or who is really in charge? And this is part of the play of democracy, particularly a liberal, what we call a liberal democracy, is knowing who really runs the country. And that's a huge question.
It is. Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, when I first read that, like I said, my first thought went to the government
grab. Right?
Government grab.
Right.
And I could speak of another government grab, not here, in the Philippines when I was over visiting.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If you have a vehicle with an aftermarket luggage rack or roof rack, you're taxed.
What?
Yep. 250 pesos per year.
Per year, just to
have that on your vehicle. My brother-in-law showed me this actual paper. I didn't believe it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It worked out to about $5.
So we can find taxes anywhere.
Anywhere.
Is that
and he said, I said, why are they doing that? He said, same thing, government grab.
Ah.
So that's where my mind goes. Why are they always overtaxing?
Yeah.
Cigarettes, alcohol. Are they good for us? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess in moderation, no.
Okay, so is the question really then, when you talk about the tax, is it the government saying, and I'm getting a little controversial here, but we'll see how far I can go on this.
Okay.
Is the government then saying the best way to get money is to appeal to people to their good side? So if you indulge in something, if something's bad for you, we can go and tax that because subconsciously that that's bad for you and you shouldn't be buying it. So you can accept that they can tax the bad thing.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate
go
here.
for it.
Is a Raisin Bran muffin healthy for you than, say, a plain muffin or a chocolate chip muffin?
Now there's a good question.
So there's a health aspect.
I have cooked them.
Okay.
And none of them's good for you.
Of course.
That's just the way it is.
I'm just putting it out there.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
So good, bad, or ugly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So snack tax, what's your thoughts? Let us know. And in local news, understanding Kindersley's zoning regulations. Residents of Kindersley, are you starting a new business or moving your business to a new location? If you are, please make sure you understand the zoning regulations in your community. You must apply for a change of land use under our zoning bylaw. Some types of businesses are allowed only in certain areas. Not all properties with businesses are zoned the same. These regulations ensure good community growth and planning. To view the zoning bylaw and the details of each zone, please visit kindersley.civicweb.net. And get your tickets for the Kerrobert Courthouse 50/50 fundraiser. There is still time to grab your tickets for the 50/50 fundraiser for the Kerrobert Courthouse Cultural Center. Funds raised will support the restoration of the building. Areas of restoration include drainage for water ponding and repairing lost or damaged concrete ledger. The jackpot is $1,240, with the winner taking home $620. Fundraiser closes July 16th. Hey golf enthusiasts, get ready to swing into action on August 26th as the Kindersley Chamber of Commerce has just revealed the exciting details of its highly anticipated 2023 Chamber Golf Tournament. This year's tournament will take place on August 26th, and the action will kick off with a shotgun start at 11 a.m., ensuring a synchronized and thrilling beginning for all participants. And now let's talk about the prizes. The Chamber is pulling out all the stops to make this event unforgettable. Numerous prizes will be up for grabs, including a special booze basket for the putting contest winners. The entry fee is $4.25 per team, and remember, early registration is highly recommended to avoid missing out on this fantastic opportunity. If you have any questions or need further information about the tournament, don't hesitate to reach out to the Kindersley Chamber of Commerce. And we are back. Hi, thank you for joining us today. I am Kevin, and
I'm Ron.
And we always look to do we always do this?
Yeah, what is that?
I'm Kevin.
That's a good point. Okay,
you're
sure.
Ron back there.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So anyway, you're going to go on a serious subject tonight, Ron.
Let's.
Emergency services in smaller communities. Now, I guess Kindersley kind of still qualifies as a smaller community.
Yeah, I think I would see Kindersley as sort of a hub within a smaller community, but
Yes.
necessarily it's not millions of people.
No, it is not.
And it is a smaller hub, but nevertheless, what do we do to maintain emergency services? And I go back far enough in my own history to go back to the days of, I believe it was Grant Devine, and we were going to build all these hospitals all across the province,
Right.
and they were going to be fully serviced, and we were going to have everything that we needed, and it didn't work. And then the buildings became health centers instead of full service hospitals, and we kept trying to figure out, and I think we've been doing that for decades, well, probably for more than decades, to figure out how do we have the best emergency and health services within our province. And I look at it and I say, I'm thankful that our province recognizes that we have to
Yes.
have quality, and so they ask for quality.
Sure. Yes.
And they require, well, let's take a small hamlet or a small place outside of Kindersley, Saskatchewan.
Okay.
And the administrator is working on it. The administrator is left to come up with some way to provide that, or to say that we've got the quality there. It's available.
It is, yes.
And I wonder, how can you do that as an administrator running so many other things? So what do we do about that?
It is tougher being in a smaller community just because you're farther away
Yeah,
from the
exactly.
bigger centers. Now, we're lucky in Kindersley. We do have a lot more trained people
we
than
do.
other smaller towns. Like, say, if you say we're the hub,
Yeah.
and I think that's great. But we're still, we're 2 hours to Saskatoon. And that can be still a 2-hour ambulance ride if need
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
And hopefully the road's in good shape. Or in the wintertime, at least it's plowed,
Yeah.
So it can be it's tough, I think, for our emergency personnel too.
Yeah.
Because they want to do as much as they can.
Yeah.
But sometimes they have to wait.
And they have to get training.
Yes.
Thankfully, in Kindersley, we have a good training regime
Absolutely.
that happens, and
Yes.
I'm very impressed with what we have available, particularly for emergency services, fire services, for other services. But again, back to the small hamlet. What happens? I think the administrator then jumps up and down and says, I can't do this anymore. Why don't I go to a centralized place?
Okay.
Have Kindersley take care of the services, or
Right.
contract it out, or whatever term you want to put.
Right.
which then brings me back to a bigger philosophical and political question is,
Okay.
how centralized, is centralization the best approach to health services?
That is a loaded question.
I know it is.
And we cover, I believe, 4,000 square kilometers of area.
It's a
So that's
good area, yeah.
That's a big area
Yeah.
to be servicing.
Yeah,
And you know what? Like anything else, some days is going to be better than others.
Yeah.
Depending on the conditions and whatever else is happening. Wow, it is still a loaded question.
it very much so. I will step back and just say, I think we have people who are working as, and I say government in the general term and not in some kind of partisan approach, but we want to see people get the best, be protected, have a good life.
Yes.
We are after that.
Yes.
And so I support that pursuit. And I trust that we as a community support that pursuit as well.
I would agree.
And so let's jump on board.
We'll just keep making forward progress.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's all we can do.
And seek that help. So, you may know what we could be doing. Maybe that's the next thing that we need, is continued input.
Yes,
into
so
that.
if you have any thoughts, any ideas, let us know, please.
Events sponsored by Royal Flush, the company for septic services.
The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the Musical Ride 150th Anniversary Tour. The Musical Ride 150th Anniversary Tour will stop in the province this summer. A symbol of tradition, honor, and pride, the Musical Ride is a Canadian icon recognized at home and abroad. A troupe of up to 32 riders, who are all police officers, and their horses perform intricate formations and drills set to music, lasting about 30 minutes. The tour will take place between July 15th and July 22nd. Continue to check their RCMP social media accounts for updates. The Food Truck Wars Street Festival. The 2023 Food Truck Wars Street Festival will take place July 27th to 29th in downtown Saskatoon. Come support the festival's food vendors and take in the cultural dancing, food-related competitions, and karaoke challenges. A pet water station, table seating, and ATMs are all on site. The festival is open each day from 12 noon till 8 p.m. and admission is free.
Welcome. This
Hi.
is
Kevin,
okay, and this is Ron.
and we're
Us.
the dynamic duo for tonight.
What can we say? Yes.
Well, you know what?
I'm sure we could say a lot,
I'm
because
sure
that's
we
why
could.
we have this podcast.
Right,
because
it's
we
kind of a
say-
forum for us to get our thoughts and
Yeah,
ideas out.
exactly, and so that's just the way it is. So let's get a new thought out, which
Okay.
is an old thought. In Britain, there is a Luton town. Now, my understanding from the news reports is that they are now joining the Premier League of football,
Okay.
which we call soccer here, but football.
Okay.
And in doing that, they're going to be looking at larger crowds, more people coming in, just
More noise stuff and
more,
everything.
all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
The thing is, their stadium is currently in an area where I was watching this on a video. Literally, townhouses back onto the stadium.
That must be an old stadium.
It is an old stadium.
Okay.
So the question is, how's this going to affect Luton Town? Ooh, that's a
Wow. That's a good question. That's a very good question. And as you know, football fans and European, football fans
Yes,
in general,
yes.
are known for, let's just say, outrageous behavior at times.
We believe in passionate. I'm not going to go with any of the more of it, but we're passionate about our stuff.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Well, now, would they reuse that old stadium if they build another one?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
They do have a plan
Okay.
to actually move not far from where they are
Okay.
to a larger area, and so they would have. The facility would be better, I guess. And
Right.
you can build it and set it up with strategies for parking, strategies for all sorts of stuff. This particular stadium, at the moment, they have like 2 or 3 doors, I mean, little doors that they open up for all the people coming in off public transit or, I don't know, subways and that sort of stuff. It's very crowded and very hard to get in and out. And then the townhouses are right there, and some people really love it because we could just walk over and we're right in the stadium, and other people think, wow, there's much more litter here than there was 2 hours ago.
Yeah, I would think so. I wonder how that would equate to graffiti and stuff like that.
Wow. So an arts community is what you're saying.
It could spring up out of
be a
that
new
too.
arts community.
It could be,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. So what if like we built stadiums in places like downtown, I don't know, Saskatchewan town, cities.
Or like Saskatoon?
I never would have thought of that.
Well, see, that's why I'm here to help keep
I
you
know,
on track.
exactly. So what I understand things are moving ahead.
Yes.
But what considerations need to be taken into place when you think of that?
I would think egress is a big one, which means getting out of the stadium.
Right, yes, you want to egress out.
Right.
It's like regress, but egress.
Just drop the R, yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
One of those words, yes.
Because there's a plethora of that, and that means a lot too.
Yes, that does. That works very well.
I know.
We're going to go into our dictionary in a few minutes.
Oh, boy.
It's just going to be great.
We are.
Oh, yeah. Your egress.
Well, parking, I think, would be a big thing, because I think everybody, once the event is done, want to get out of there.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes you just can't because of the sheer number of people blocking the roads or whatever it is, and it can take a while. Whether a downtown arena would solve those problems, I can't say. I haven't seen a drawing, so I don't know.
I mean, if you have accommodations close by, then you could just come to the accommodations and walk directly. And hopefully people will come in on public transit, and the public transit will take them out.
Right.
That could work very well.
I know something similar with the new Winnipeg football stadium. They moved down to the south end of the city on the university campus. You have to take public transportation. You're not allowed to bring your vehicle.
That makes sense. I had not heard that.
Yeah, but I was there the first year it opened, and we had to take. Well, it was fine. I didn't mind either way. It's fine. I got where I needed to go.
Yeah, that would work great. Could you see that here in Kindersley if you had to take public transit?
Wow, do we have that many buses in town?
We might have to start a new thing.
Trend.
What do you say? We become the Kevin and Ron public transit system.
Wow, we could take people for a ride.
we could. Wow. I think I would be tired already.
Oh,
yes, thank you for listening to this very tiring conversation.
Sports, sponsored by the Tint Doctor. We've got you covered.
And in Saskatchewan sports, the Kindersley Clippers Summer Hockey School will take place August 21st to the 25th. $250 for ages under 12 and $125 for ages 12 and up. To sign up and view the camp schedule, visit clippershockey.com. The Boomtown Cup lawnmower races are scheduled to take place on Friday, July 15th. This annual event is set to kick up the excitement behind the Shaunavon Hospital. The Boomtown Cup is not just your ordinary lawnmower race. It's high-speed action, making it a must-attend event for adrenaline junkies. And the Rough Riders will host 2 special home games in July. On the 6th, the Edmonton Elks are in Regina for a Week 1 rematch in the CFL, and the Riders will throw it back with retro uniforms and a retro feel at Mosaic Stadium for a Throwback Thursday. The first 5,000 fans through the gates will receive retro sunglasses, courtesy of Brand. There will be a classic rock and roll at halftime and a classic matchup on the field. Game starts at 7 p.m. And on July 15th, the Riders host a must-see CFL West Division matchup versus the Calgary Stampeders to celebrate the community's Indigenous heritage with the Saskatchewan Rough Riders Saskatchewan game. There's plenty of action to take in at Mosaic Stadium all day long, with special on-field performances during the pregame and halftime. To help mark this special occasion, fans are welcome on the field after the game. Game time is 5 p.m. Bonjour, welcome. Hi, Ron.
Yeah. Hi, Kevin.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
I thought I would try my Spanish on or my French on you. Sorry.
Yeah. Right.
Wow.
Okay. Do you want to
can I
start a
say?
new language? Maybe we could.
It'd be like Klingon. You wouldn't be able to understand
Okay,
it.
I would not cling on to that. That's for
You
sure.
would not.
Okay,
It's,
no, we're good.
I'm not going to go any more jokes on that
Okay.
one. It's just not good. You're a parent.
Yes.
I'm a parent.
Yes.
And I think as parents, we've had some different ideas than our parents did with us.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
How do we raise the kids? What do they look like?
I think most of us, and correct me if I'm wrong, we parented our kids the way we were, for the most part, the way we were parented.
Yeah.
And hopefully we have learned things to do or not to do.
Yeah.
I'd like to think I have, and I'm pretty sure you did. What's your take on that?
Well, I think you're coming into an area that has been very relevant to me lately, because I do other podcasts, and in one of the podcasts I'm doing, there's a very recent study, April, May, it has just come out.
Okay.
And it's called Parenting Faith. And so they're looking at a particular section of how do we help our kids think about what they believe, what their faith is, where do they head with that.
Okay.
And it was, part of the study, and there are a few things that stuck out, but particularly one part of the study said that a number of the parents nowadays are saying, I grew up with a certain approach to how my parents were going to teach me about faith, and about many other things too, but certainly about faith. And they said, I don't want to be like my parents. And as I listened to, particularly I was talking to the authors of the study, and to some participants or partners in this study. We don't want to be like our parents because they forced us to be like this, to have this faith, to have this. And so this study is pointing out something that's quite unusual in our generation, which is we don't need the institution, the church, the synagogue, or whatever, to tell us how to parent our kids into their faith. And that's what they're saying.
Interesting.
Wow.
That's very interesting.
How different is that from what I grew up with?
Exactly.
Probably from what you grew up
me
with
too.
as well.
Yeah, exactly. Now, my parents were not, how do I say that, into religion?
Right,
If I may say that.
Yeah.
Although I did attend church when I was able to decide what I wanted to do.
Right.
And I attended a Mennonite church.
Yeah.
And that was cool. I met a lot of great people. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I let my kids, when they got older, to decide if they wanted to continue.
Yeah, which would, and make their choice.
Yes.
Which is another thing the study pointed out, is that we have changed from a very, you have to be this way, and I've got all the rules, and I grew up this way, this is what my parents taught me, this is what I'm going to teach you, you better follow this way or you're excommunicated.
That's really old school.
And that,
Wow.
and the study says parents don't want that. It's about choice. And
Okay.
so in some ways, it's like parents nowadays have to teach or are trying to find ways to teach their kids about more than just the religion or the faith that they grew up in, which is hard enough knowing all of the stuff that goes into just one religion.
Yes.
Now the parents are trying to find ways to make sure that everybody has their choice about the faith that they go into. And there's lots of stuff on the internet, and they're trying to point them out. And so the question has become, why church?
Right. So would that mean that the parents are kind of disenchanted with their choice of faith?
In this case, interestingly, in this particular study, the parents are not disenchanted with their faith.
Okay.
They are quite active, and the interesting thing was that they were, in one sense, chosen in the study. They had to say, "I'm active in my faith, and this is the way I see parenting going forward." But they're also saying, "But then our kids can have all kinds of choice," and so it's kind of playing this mind game for the church and for programming, for children's ministry, as we would call it, within many different faiths. And I think this goes across many different faiths. Is what is, as I say, why the church? What is the organization about? And what is the organization relevant for as far as helping parenting their kids into faith? And it's a huge question.
Wow. And are they able to help?
Well, that's
Are they keeping up with the world, so to speak?
yeah. Well, I did a podcast with 3 partners in this study.
Okay.
And what these partners are saying is we got to rethink what we're doing. Are we doing something that's relevant? Can we actually help our, and some of them are outside of the church, they're groups that help the church. They're saying, is there a better way to do this? We need to be doing it, they feel, but how do we do it?
That sounds very progressive.
So yeah, we've got to get outside of what's happened over the last decades and ask ourselves, what is the way that we can parent children into faith?
Into faith.
Yeah.
Kind of like the way Dr. Spock was helping parents to parent back in the 50s.
I'm sorry.
Dr. Spock, not Professor Spock.
Yes, I do know who you're talking
Yeah.
about.
So I mean, he was a guru to a lot of parents who
Yes.
helped who maybe
Definitely.
didn't know what on earth to do.
Right.
I've got this little 8-pound bundle. What do I do with it?
Yeah.
And he was a big proponent of helping new parents
Yeah.
to parent. Mm-hmm. I think it was I don't recall reading his material, but I
No,
know he was quite popular.
Yes, he was. And then as you go on, you have different. So as I think of us as a society, as a culture, and I'm going to get a little bit deeper here, but a culture bases itself on a faith, a belief, a moral stand, an ethic, whatever. There is something that runs
Yes.
a culture.
Yes.
And the question nowadays is, as we're parenting the people that will affect the next culture or
Next generation.
the next generation, what are we parenting them into? And that's the question that came out of this study particularly. So I'm excited to see what comes, and I think it's going to be different, and we're just going to have to live in a new world in one very real sense.
Old school isn't always good. How would you feel about having $1,000 extra in your pocket? Well, all you have to do is head over to the Kindersley Social Facebook page and give them a like or follow. It's that easy. That's right, all you have to do is to go to our Kindersley Social Facebook page and hit like or follow at the top of the page to enter. The lucky winner will be randomly selected from our followers list in September. So don't wait any longer. Join our page now and enter our amazing competition.
Hi everyone, be sure to grab a free copy of our bi-weekly print issue in over 50 locations across Kindersley. Also included in our magazine is the free Kindersley Social Extra, where we publish things like community events for nonprofits and obituaries for free. If you would like to be featured in our magazine or have something advertised, please email hello@kindersleysocial.ca.